Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. We are doing IM3 9.2.1. And first, we're going to start off with the bell ringer. And the question is, what is the tangent of 7 pi over 6? 7 pi over 6. So let's go to the whiteboard. Tangent 7 pi over 6. Well, this is slightly more than 180 degrees. We know that 180 degrees is 6 pi over 6, or just pi. Then what's 7 pi over 6? Well, here is the 180. And if we go to 7 pi over 6, it's going to be not just 180, but slightly more. And we're going to go to about this point right here. And at this point, on the unit circle, we have a coordinate. So we know that this is pi over 6 more than 180. And so therefore, this point right here is negative square root of 3 over 2, comma, negative 1/2. And so that, of course, we know from the unit circle. So that's great. But what's the tangent? Well, remember how the cosine is on the left and the sine is on the right? Remember how the cosine is on the left and the sine is on the right? Remember how the cosine is the x value and the sine is the y value, and the cosine is the x value and the sine is the y value? Well, that means that this right here is the cosine of 7 pi over 6, and this right here is the sine of 7 pi over 6. The tangent of 7 pi over 6 is really sine of 7 pi over 6, all divided by cosine of 7 pi over 6, because tangent equals sine over cosine. And so we happen to know what these are. Sine of 7 pi over 6, well, that's this one. That's negative 1/2. And then the cosine is negative square root of 3 over 2, which is this one right here. So that's divided by negative square root of 3 over 2. And then we simplify. And what we talked about the other day is that when you're dividing a fraction by a fraction, you simply take the bottom fraction and you flip it and you multiply it. So in this case here, well, we have that negative 1/2 divided by negative square root of 3 over 2. We're going to have to take that negative square root of 3 over 2 and flip it and put it up there. So here's what that would look like. This is minus 1/2 times, see if I can squeeze that in there, 2 over the square root of 3, and I forgot the negative, so I'll put that up. It doesn't matter if it's top or bottom. I'll just put it in top. And so now when we multiply that, we get that the 2 simplify to become 1, and the negatives as well. These here go to positive, so we're left with 1 over the square root of 3, which looks great, but unfortunately, we can't leave it like that. That's right. So this is going to be, we multiply by square root of 3 over square root of 3, and we get square root of 3 over 3. And that is your answer for number 1. That is the tangent of 7 pi over 6. This thing right here comes out to square root of 3 over 6. Do not simplify this. Don't put this as a decimal is what I meant to say. Leave it in square root form, please. If it's given in square roots, please leave it in that form. Question number 2, we have, what is the cosine of 13 pi over 6? So cosine of 13 pi over 6, well, hey, 13 pi over 6, isn't that more than 2 pi? Or fix my, oh, I'm not doing very well. So if I have a circle, hey, you know what? Why don't I use the circle tool? Then I actually get like a real circle. Okay, so if I have the midpoint right here, and if I'm going all the way around past 2 pi, and then another pi over 6, I end up approximately here. If I could draw better, that is. And this point is the same thing as just 30 degrees. It's the same thing as pi over 6. because I overshot 2 pi by pi over 6. 2 pi would have been 12 pi over 6, but 13 pi over 6 would be 1 more pi over 6. Yes? He's not here. He didn't come. Okie dokie. Bye. Now, because I can't afford an editor, we're just going to leave that right in there and just keep on moving. So you're welcome, YouTube. All right, so this is more than 2 pi. In fact, it's 1 pi over 6 extra. That's 30 degrees. So this is square root of 3 over 2, comma 1/2. You never know what you're going to get in live instruction. So the cosine is, of course, the x value. So therefore, this is the square root of 3 over 2. Which, like, nobody in my class got. No, one person did. Fantastic. And then we have a tangent of 2 pi over 3. How about we just stay here on the same circle and I have to redraw everything. Tangent of 2 pi over 3. 2 pi over 3, that's 2/3 pi. Why, that's 120 degrees. That's like here-ish, kind of. So like this angle, from there to there. And that would be 2 pi over 3. Well, we happen to know what this point is. This would be -1/2, comma, square root of 3 over 2. Because that's at 2 pi over 3. And if you know your unit circle, then you know what to put. And they want tan. Ah, great. So we got to take cosine and sine and divide one by the other. So this will be square root of 3 over 2, the whole thing divided by -1/2, which is square root of 3 over 2. Now let me fix that. Square root of 3 over 2 divided by, I screwed that up. I meant to flip it. And also I need to get rid of this thing here. Okay. So this equals square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1, negative. The 2's simplify to be 1. So this just ends up being square root of -3. Or negative square root of 3. That's bad. And that's the answer to this one. This is negative square root of 3. And the final question, what is the cosine of 7 pi over 3? What is the cosine of 7 pi over 3? You know what? I think I will squeeze this in here too. Oh, this is a different color. So 7 cosine of 7 pi over 3. If you want to try it on your own, go ahead and pause it. But this is more than 2 pi, because 6 pi over 3 would be 2 pi. So we're going to go all the way around, and then we're going to add another third of a pi, which comes out to about here, which I wish maybe I should have done a new circle, because now I'm really running out of space. But we know that this is 1/2, comma, square root of 3 over 2. And they just want the cosine, so the answer is 1/2. And everyone's happy. Okay. Well, that's it for the bell ringer. And next, I'm going to do the lesson for 9.2.1. That's part 2. Stay tuned.